Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Today looking at a shirt that I've had a lot of people asking about. And the only reason that it took me so long to bring this content out is one, because I've been enjoying wearing this shirt and doing different things with it. But two, I also wanted to make sure that I could properly test this. So today we are here to look at the Raid shirt from Helicon Tex. Now this is a thoroughly outdoors tactical military shirt. I thought about putting it onto Moorlander Tactical, but I know a lot of people will not wear this whilst airsofting or something like that. They'll wear this when they're out and about, they'll wear this when they're walking, down to the utilitarian style nature of the different pockets on here, which is why I decided to put it on Moorlander EDC rather than Moorlander Tactical. Now, testing. So lots of walks, as I usually tend to do, and we've been good enough here in Britain to have quite a bit of sun recently, but also quite a bit of rain as well, so I've been able to test bits like that. Had a few days skirmishing with it, with airsoft, and it's a nice shirt. It genuinely is a nice shirt, so much so I'm thinking of picking up a couple more and having Moorlander EDC stitched onto them, and I think that looked kind of cool. But anyway, so let's get into it. Now before I start, because I always get this, I get asked this before, or I get this asked this a lot. So the one that we're having a look at today, this is an EU extra large, which is a US large. I'm 5'10", I'm about 16 stone, which is about 100 kilos. I have a 46 to 48 inch chest. So I checked with Helicon Tex and they recommended for those size measurements that I should be an EU large, which is, an EU extra large, which is a North American or a US large. If you're a similar size, then I would say go for the extra large if you're here in Europe, or what I would say is check the measurements, and I would say that for my size and the measurements that they had on the website, that they were accurate and this is the correct size for me. As far as colours and materials are concerned, colours, it's Helicon Tex. This is a new shirt, or it's a new line, so you will find, I think at the moment there's probably, I've forgotten now, I think there's about 7 or 8 different colours. There's plenty of flat colours with your blacks, coyotes. This is the RAL 7013, which I'm a huge fan of. They also do it in OD green, but then I think they also have a few camos as well. Tiger Stripe, DNC, there's another one as well, but there's plenty to look at. I definitely think that this will become a popular shirt for them. Hopefully I'll buy a few. So hopefully moving forward, when the Duck Hunter camo comes out, hopefully this year, then they'll make these. I'm sure at some point there'll be a multicam and a multicam black, and there'll be plenty of colours. So check the website and you'll be able to see them there. As far as materials are concerned with this is made from a polycotton. Now it's 50% polyester, 48% cotton and 2% elastin. So there is a little bit of stretch and a little bit of give with it, which is nice through the shoulders especially. It's a ripstop material, which tends to have a little bit more tension because those extra ripstop fibres that are put into it stop it from tearing. So because it has that elastin in here, just being able to move. Now with this I'm holding down onto my cuffs here to get as much stretch through the back there, but there's just a little bit of give in it, so that it feels nice when it's on. Now you're never going to do that walking around, have no issues with it. On the few days that I've worn this when I'm airsofting, having a plate carrier over this, that's where you get a little bit more of that kind of tension, especially when the material gets damp underneath the plate carrier, because I mean I'm a sweaty Betty and I sweat a lot. No issues, that elastin works really well. Some of you may be concerned about temperatures, and I think that is probably a relevant concern, mainly because of the 50% polyester in this. I know I have a lot of people in the US, I have a lot of people in southern Europe, southern US, Texas, around that area. The high concentration of polyester might make this a little bit too hot for you guys in the summer. Again, that kind of belt around the world, well, it gets really hot. You might struggle with this. Today it's about 17 degrees. The hottest, and I have a t-shirt on underneath this, it's fine. The hottest day that I wore this, again, was airsofting. I got plate carrier over the top of this. It got up to about 22 degrees. I was sweating. I sweat a lot anyway, but it was okay. When I took it off, went for lunch, came back, it helped with the sweat to try and get it dry. But you might find that it is a little bit too hot for where you are. Another thing that I know some people have asked about as well is the noise that it makes. So if I come closer here and just, I don't know if you can hear from that. Polyester and cotton tends to make a little bit more noise than just cotton, or nylon and cotton. It makes the same noise that you'd expect for something that is made from polyester and cotton to make. It's not particularly loud, but it's not as quiet as some just plain cotton. But that's the toss-up that you get with the polyester to try and make this as tough as possible. So there you go. Now let's get into it, because I know you probably at this point think, just shut up, Randy, and tell us about it. Okay, this is a full button shirt like a BDU. This is designed to be worn with their SFUs, to be worn with their MDCUs, their BDU pants, all of those different pants you can wear this with. Or like me today, I'm just out, I'm just wearing my jeans with this, and it goes very well with them. So full button all the way through the front. The buttons themselves on the inside here are all Canadian buttons. The difference between a Canadian button and a normal button is it says A. No, that was a terrible, I'm not going to go any further with that. Anyway, so a Canadian button has a piece of webbing that goes all the way through it, and where the buttons are here, the webbing goes through those holes. It makes it a lot tougher, and it's very rare that you'll lose a Canadian button. Whereas a normal button, they have those 4 threads. So all of the buttons down the front, there's 5 buttons on the front. They're all covered by a fold so that they're in there. That's great if you're out walking, if you're climbing through stuff, if you've got a bag that you're wearing across your shoulder. Buttons get caught in straps all the time. You don't have any issues with these whatsoever. In fact, all of the buttons that we'll have a look at in a second are all Canadian buttons as well. So that's the main front bit. There's really not much more to say about that, you know. It works and acts like a normal shirt. If you want to do it all the way up to the top, if you're one of those kind of guys or gals, it will go all the way up to the top, and your collar comes in. Now the collar itself is what I consider to be quite a loose collar. It's not like a dress shirt where you'll have any sort of reinforcement or anything like that in here. It simply is the same polycotton that this is made from, and there are, to give it a little bit of rigidity, it's 2 layers of that polycotton. If you want to bring it up close to your neck, you can do. It certainly helps if you're out walking and you've got shoulder straps. If that gets into your neck, it's nice to have a collar like this. If it is, like I was using it for airsoft, just to lift it up, plate carrier on, sling for your rifle, it certainly doesn't rub. So at least it stops it from rubbing on your neck when it's on hot days. Coming down onto the shoulders. Now we'll say that the shoulders on this, and it's something that Helicon Techs talk about quite a lot, is that these are raglan style shoulders. So rather than the material coming up here, fly in my face, and then you having the stitch going across there, the arm material comes all the way up into the neck here where it attaches. Again, for things like shoulder straps, that sort of stuff, I mean, I don't get that much of an issue with shoulder straps myself. This flies really do my nut in. You don't get, I don't get a lot of issues with that, but if you do, then you get, it's nice and it's smooth on your shoulders. On your chest, hopefully you will see here that we have some buttons, but we also have some pockets. Both of the pockets are identical. I'm pretty sure, yeah, they are identical on both sides, but they both have these flaps, and underneath the flap, hopefully you'll see there are 1, 2 of those Canadian buttons. These also have, so rather than the buttons coming through here, you also have that little kind of pocket on the inside. It's a bit of a faff, especially when you're wearing gloves to be able to get these on. Personally, as you'll see with this one, because I was just messing around with this one, I just keep this one on there. It stops it from flapping around, but then it also means that if you want to get access to your pocket, oh, there's a little sticker there, you can still get access to your pocket. But if you want to batten them down completely, then there are two of those buttons that you can do that on either side. Now both of these pockets also have in here, so if you can see, so there's the pocket itself, there are your buttons, and then on the inside you have this little piece of webbing on there. So if you have any tools, if you have a compass or something like that you always make sure is in the same pocket so that you take it out, or maybe if you've got some keys and you know that they regularly fall out of your pocket, but you don't want to keep this closed, you don't have to have those buttons closed, because what you can do is you can lash it down onto this small piece of webbing here, and it's exactly the same on this one. You have the same piece there, so that when you deal with it, you put it back in your pocket, you do whatever it is, you go, oh it's fallen out, but it's still lashed to you, and then you can put it back in. For the rest of the frontage, it's just a regular shirt. There's no additional kind of pockets here. There's no, or at least on this side, so you have some pleating here, which allows it to have some volume, so whatever it is that you need to put in there. But there isn't like with some, you'll have another pocket here with a zip on the front. There's nothing like that, or is there? So on the inside here, do you like how I did that? That was me trying to sectioning onto another bit. I need to work on it a bit though. On the inside, you do get some additional pockets, but these are still part of this same pocket. Now, it's not a second way to be able to get into this. These are definitely different pockets. You can't get into them either way. But if for some reason maybe you've got some medication that you need to keep on you, or some papers maybe, I know you've got a hunting pass or fishing pass, then you can put it on this side. So this uses the same polyester mesh that Helicon Tex use on a lot of theirs, and then you get a little YKK zipper with a zip there. Now the one on my left side over my heart, this is one that has a zip to open and close. On my right hand side there is a very similar pocket, but instead of having a zip, instead this is a slip pocket, so you can just put anything into this. In fact, here's my mobile phone and it will just fit in there. If you're out doing day trips, if it's city breaks and you did wear this, I mean, you might want to wear this on city breaks. I will say that of a lot of the shirts that I wear, I wear a lot of flannel shirts, this is, you know, it's the most tactical looking. There's no way of getting away from that. I certainly haven't worn this into the office because I think people will be like, wow, Randy's gone a bit militant today. So yeah, you probably wouldn't go on a city break with this, but never mind. You know, there might be people out there that would do, but you can put stuff in there, and it keeps prying hands away. And that's the front. Sides wise, there's nothing on the sides. There's no kind of elastic sections to give you a little bit more room. If you're worried about your guttage, then make sure you check the sizes. Again, so I have a 36-inch waist, and there's still plenty of room. I'm wearing a t-shirt underneath this. Underneath the arms, there are some grommet holes, not necessarily for allowing water in and out, but more so for allowing air to come in and out. I think they've taken on the fact that there's a little bit higher polyester than nylon, which nylon tends to be a little bit more cooling. So I think it's good that they put that in there rather than having like a dedicated zip that you'd have to open to be able to let a little bit more air in. Then coming on to the arms, they're both the same, by the way. So we'll have a look at my right arm, mainly because this has got the Helicon Tex logo on it. But whatever you see on this side is exactly the same on the other side. So on the bicep, you have an angled pocket. The reason that it's angled is if you try and get in that way, it's a bit of a pain, whereas if you try and get in that way, it's a lot easier to be able to get in and out of them. You'll see that the older style shirts have those on there, whereas a lot of these newer style shirts have it angled, again just because it's a lot easier to be able to get in and out of. Underneath here there is another, did I mention this on this bit? No, it doesn't have it on here actually, I forgot to mention that. So on here you'll notice that there is no Velcro on here whatsoever, whereas with the arm pockets there is some Velcro, so there's some hook and loop here on each side, which is really good because this entire time I haven't had this closed using the actual button on here. Instead you can just close it down, push the Velcro on, and it will stop it from coming up or down. But again, if you want to make sure it's as secure as possible, then you can use that button. Now these pockets are what I call, or I guess most people call them these, turnover pockets. The difference with these is, so here is the actual fold itself, yet the mouth to the pocket is here. So when you close this, you're actually closing the top of the pocket over onto itself, which is great. You know, when you're out and about, these are the areas that get caught on trees because, you know, they're your extremities and that's what it gets caught on. So if you have stuff that's in here and you want to make sure that it's safe and it's away from dust and debris, then these are great. And I like that they've added, it's a very small feature and not a lot of companies do it, but when they do, part of me is just like, I like that you've added, I like that you've gone to that level. So yes, so you have these on here, and this is your, this will be your main access into that pocket. Another bit that they've added on here as well, just in case you need it, is they also have that little loop as well, and it's the same on the other side, so that if you need to attach something to here, you can do. Then moving down, so here, hopefully you'll then be able to see your button. This is another Canadian button which attaches to the top here, and then in front of that what you then get are some more pockets. So let's just move this bit over. You actually have two pockets here. You have a thin pocket which is useful for pens and long tools, but then you also have another pocket beside that which you can put larger items into. I think again, if you need to put a standard kind of silver compass in there, it's that kind of size, almost like a deck of cards size. So that's this pocket. Then in front of here, is it here? No, I was thinking of a different shirt. I thought there were slip pockets behind this Velcro. There aren't slip pockets because this is your slip pocket there, so excuse that little bit. Then the only other thing that you have on here is your hook and loop section, so if you want to put a morale patch on here you can do, and then you have a small Helican Tex badge there as well. Coming down the sleeves, so, and again it's exactly the same, so whatever you see on this side is exactly the same on this side. You then have some reinforcements through the elbow. Without any padding in here, the reinforcement really is a pocket, so you have a double thickness of that poly cotton ripstop. The actual sleeve is just a single bit, and then you have your pocket here which closes with this is fun. This is fun, children. With hook and loop. And this is a pain to get in, which I guess is good, but you know the deal. So through the bottom here, it's all hook and loop. So if you want to be able to put some minimal padding in too here to protect your elbows. If you're a hunter and you're using this for hunting, whatever it is that you're doing this with, personally I didn't put any in when I was playing airsoft with this, but I don't know, I just didn't. But it's there should you need it. Finishing off then with the cuffs. So rather than using the Canadian buttons on the cuffs, this is your standard hook and loop. Now if I put this onto its largest size, I would say that these are reasonably large. It's probably twice the width or twice the volume of my wrist there. If you want to roll them up, you certainly can do. You don't have any issues rolling them up. But what I will say is, when you do roll them up, is just make sure that you've got it open as possible. And that's one of the differences, I guess, if they would have put the Canadian buttons on here. With the Canadian buttons, it would have allowed this to open up slightly so that as you roll it, that additional volume, I guess. What would you call it when you roll your shirt up? You know what I'm on about. But when you roll it up, it starts to get thicker, doesn't it? So after a while, maybe on your second or third roll up, that material is doubling over itself, whereas if there was a traditional kind of sleeve with a button here, there would be an opening which would allow that to expand. It doesn't expand as well with this. I would say I've got reasonably large forearms. I can get it up to the elbow, which, that's what she said, which I think is fine. But again, you know, I guess it depends on how you're going to be using this if you want to have it rolled up, but it is still possible to roll it up. It just would have been easy with a button, but again, there's pros and cons with everything, isn't there? So there we go. Now, was there one last little bit? Did I need to touch on the back? And I'm just going to take this off, mainly so that we can have a look at the back, so that I don't have to turn around because you can't hear me when I'm talking. And that is on the back. So as far as a pleat or expansion kind of pleat on the back, it's reasonably plain. Some jackets, some shirts will have a vent in here, which will be two pieces of material, then maybe a piece of mesh that would allow air to get in through the back. This doesn't have that. The pleat on the back, again, it doesn't have that either. However, as I mentioned, because it does have that extra little bit of elastin in here, I think it manages to be able to kind of deal with that. I've certainly not had this on, especially when it's been wet, covered in sweat, and I've been worried that there isn't enough kind of give in it. It's not something that I've missed not having that in the back, I guess is what I meant to say. So yeah, now, do I like this? And the simple answer to that is, yes, I do. I really do like this shirt. I think it's not an everyday shirt, but I think for here on Moorlander EDC, we're a little bit more outdoorsy with a little bit of an everyday kind of wear. I've worn this whilst I'm at home. I even did some gardening in it one day, and it's great. It's certainly not the type of shirt that you would go to work, maybe if you worked in an office, but it's not designed to be that kind of shirt. But being out, walking in this, doing some airsoft in this, it is genuinely really nice. So much so, as I mentioned at the beginning, I'm actually thinking of having, and I'm probably going to do this, the guys at Epic Group, they look awesome because they have some Helicon Tech shirts with the Epic logo embroidered on it. I've got a bit of a man crush on those guys, and I don't know. What do you think? Let's hear in the comments below. Do you think it would look cool if I'd got a couple of these and a Moorlander EDC logo stitched on them? So that's why I'm thinking of maybe flies. Yeah, picking up a couple more of these. Because why not? Anyway. So yeah, so there you go. Now, I hope you like this too. I hope you enjoyed today's content. Of course, I'll leave some links below so that you can see where you can pick this up. I bought this directly from Helicon Tech, so I'll leave their links below so that you can see more from them. I work a lot with Military First. I didn't pick these up from those guys, but they've supported my channel for a long time. So if you're here in the UK and you do want to get something that's Helicon Tech, they're a great company to buy from. As I mentioned, I got this directly from Helicon, but you should always give Military First some love anyway. I'll leave their links below. I'll leave some of my social media links here on Moorlander EDC and my sister channel Moorlander Tactical. And as always, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Hi, I'm the Moorlander, and this is Moorlander EDC. Today, looking at another piece of outdoor garment. Another piece. So we're at the end of Hurricane Lilian, whatever it is. So there was a lot of wind last night and a lot of crap falling out of the trees. But every now and again, half a stick's been caught by a tree and then gets caught up in the wind again and lands. So it's weird. It sounds like there's people moving around me, skinwalkers maybe, but it's not. It's just the other trees falling out of all the other twigs falling out of trees. Constantly sounds like somebody's walking up behind, although I can see that they aren't, because I can see on there they aren't, but I can hear it. It's unsettling. It's unnerving. Anyway, where was I? I like to waffle. Hi, I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle, here's my spout. Yeah, so the buttons. Today's Moorlander blooper question is, would you wear this to the office? Do you work in an office environment where this would be fine? Or maybe you don't go to an office, maybe you work in security and you'd be like, yeah, I'd just wear that. But yeah, would you wear this to work? There you go, that's today's question. There you go. I think that's it for now. I think that's it. Oh.